It's Gil Alexander. This is the MGM Grand Sportsbook in Las Vegas, Nevada. Time once again to go behind the book. Welcome to the Behind the Book Sports Show. I'm Gil Alexander, host of the Beating the Book podcast, live from the MGM Grand Sportsbook here in Las Vegas, Nevada, with my buddy, the VP of Race and Sports at MGM Resorts International, Jay Root. Hello, Jay. You are looking very rodeo, sir.
Yeah, this is about as corporate rodeo as I can get right now.
Nice.
But yeah, we're right in the middle of, NFR Rodeo Week here in Las Vegas, and all the MGM properties are participating. We have some sort of engagement going on. The reason we're here is Mirage Race and Sportsbook is now turned into a country nightclub.
Yes.
And they have a band and dance floor and all kinds of engagement there, and this is a little bit quieter spot here.
A little bit quieter. You may be watching this either on the MGM Grand Facebook page or on the Mirage Facebook page. Any questions for Jay, just give us the hashtag Behind the Book anywhere on social media or directly on those two Facebook pages themselves. Of course, Jay, coming up later on the show, our picks. I am on a bona fide roll. Two in a row, baby.
2 in a row.
And you also got off the schneid last week as well.
I got off the schneid, yes, with a little Kansas City luck there. I would have gotten the cover, but the outright win was a little bit of a bonus.
Cover's all we need. We'll get to our picks this week at the end of the show. We'll get to pro football too momentarily, but first, I wanted to ask you about college football. The playoff picture has finally been decided in college football. We know that it's Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Washington, the four teams in the playoff. Interested in what your expected handle is going to be for that New Year's Eve night when the two semifinal games are played versus that of an average NFL Sunday.
From our experience from last year on New Year's Eve, both the games exceeded what they normally would have just as a bowl game. If they were just the normal Peach Bowl and that bowl would have attracted probably low six figures, but as a playoff, national semi-playoff game, we're expecting it to, be up in the seven-figure range, just like we would an NFL game.
Wow.
It's going to be, they move the times up a little bit so that the East Coast can, enjoy it a little bit. That doesn't affect us out here much, but they move the times up a little bit. So that might put a little bit of a dent on our handle because, people might not realize that they, need to bet the game, by noon or 1 o'clock.
True.
Then, while they're getting ready to go out here. But, we're going to do really good handle to it. But the bigger issue is there should be 8 teams and not 4 teams because the fact that Penn State, and I'm not a Penn State anything, Penn State should be in this because they ticked every box that you should tick as a college football team to make the national tournament, and they're sitting on the outside looking in.
And if you had 8 teams, your handle would be spectacular. As we talked about last week. Maybe.
And I'm sure the NCAA is trying to figure out how we can help Vegas get a better handle.
Well, you know what, Jay? They
8.
should.
Right,
They
absolutely.
should. But you're right. Penn State not only wins the Big Ten, beats Ohio State, one of the teams that just sort of skated in to the championship or to the playoff round.
Right.
So,
I mean, if Ohio State would have been left out and Penn State was in there, everyone would have said Ohio State is a team that should be represented in the conversation of national champion.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're restricted to 4 teams is better than it used to be. A bunch of yo-yos betting, voting on who's going to do it.
Yo-yos.
But just bite the bullet and call it 8, and then 9 and 10 can't complain at that point because they didn't do enough.
Yeah. No, you're right. 8 is great. 5 conference champions plus 3 at large.
Absolutely.
Problem solved. Handled great. Memo to the NCAA.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why it takes so long.
I don't either. I have no idea. Let's get to pro football.
Yes.
Get your thoughts on where the money's going to be this week in the NFL. Week 14 in the NFL, beginning with a day game between the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are favored by 6. 2 6-6 teams. This is for the lead in the AFC South, believe it or not. Now, Tennessee's going to have something to say about that.
Lead, possibly.
But on tiebreaker, this actually will determine who is technically in first place in the AFC South. The Colts coming off a game Monday night where they played what looked like the most listless team I've ever seen in the New York Jets.
Yeah.
Almost a free pass for the Colts, though on short rest. And then you've got the Texans, who are floundering. They've lost 3 in a row. Colts favored by 6. No public team here, Jay. Where do you think the money's going to be?
Colts is a public team. I mean, historically, the public loved the Colts when Manning was there, and then when Luck came in and he's played so, had early success. the public wants to back the Colts. I think after they saw what they saw with the Colts against the Jets, albeit it was a watered down Jets team. We just don't know how diluted, but pretty diluted. I think the public will be right back on the Colts here again because they're going to see that Andrew Luck is sort of back in there. He seems to be healthy. He's able to manage the weak offensive line that he has and get the job done. And Gore is Gore. He does what he does. I heard a line the other night when the game was on. Gore leads his team in rushing every year. I'm like, duh, of course he does. He's the star running back of every team he's on. So I don't know if that was a misspoken thing, but Gore is starting to sort of carry the weight on that team. And I thought Tennessee was really going to be a team that has a chance to challenge for this division, and I think they still do. But Colts aren't going to go away quietly, that's for sure.
Frank Gore just passed Tony Dorsett on the all-time rushing list, to Jay's point. That's interesting, though. I didn't know that you would consider the Colts a public team. I guess much of that is because they've had the Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck back-to-back situation. So certainly public-ish, if not the most public of all teams. But you're saying they're just outright public team.
They are an outright public team, and I think they established themselves that way about 5 or 6 years ago when it was them, Pittsburgh, and New England Patriots. That 3-team parlay came in for like 7 straight weeks.
That'll do it.
All you had to do was blindly go up to the counter and utter those 3 words, and you cashed 7-1 right away.
Beloved are the Colts after that.
Yeah.
So you're going to need the Texans, is what you're saying.
We're going to need Osweiler to not be Osweiler and show up and do something
Good
fantastic.
luck, Jay Rude.
Yes.
Good luck with Brock Osweiler. All right, game 2, Jay. Seattle on the road. Speaking of public teams, both of these are kind of public teams. Seattle on the road at Green Bay. Seattle giving 2.5.
Yep.
Not going to have Earl Thomas, not for this game, but for the rest of the season. Their Pro Bowl safety out with the broken tibia, but still a formidable team, just moseying along at 8-3-1. Green Bay, a couple weeks ago, Aaron Rodgers said, we got to win out. So far, 2 weeks in, so good. Green Bay must-win situation, but Seattle is Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle is Seattle. I mean, we've talked about the offensive line being so dominant on a couple of teams, and Seattle's offensive line is offensive.
They are.
But they're getting the job done because Russell Wilson's such a great quarterback. He overcompensates for some of that, but the problem that Green Bay has is a bigger problem than either one of those teams on the field. It's because the Lions keep winning.
Yes.
That's why they have to keep winning out. Seattle is sort of able to take the gas off the pedal at this point because they kind of can coast in, I think, because nobody's going to threaten them in their division right now. They can just kind of 500 ball from here on out and be the winner of that division. But
it's true.
Green Bay's got a tough road ahead of them because the Lions just keep somehow figuring out how to win. Yeah,
Green Bay competing for a wild card, though, of course, if not their division. Seattle, as you point out, not only coasting in their division, but probably an uphill battle to get the number 1 seed. They're certainly trying for a first-round bye, though, for sure. You're going to need Green Bay, though.
We're going to need Green Bay. I mean, the public is definitely going to be on Seattle with the short road price. Green Bay, they've performed well the last couple of weeks, but Aaron Rodgers is a little bit gimpy. The Seattle defense is always, they are who they are, even without Earl Thomas in there.
Yeah.
They're still a tough out. So yeah, we're going to need Green Bay, which is a weird spot for me to begin with. I mean, I can probably count on one hand the number of times I've needed Green Bay in the last 5 or 6 years. So, it was probably game 1 when they were a 6 seed in the playoffs, 5 years ago. That was probably the last time I needed Green Bay. But
so you're saying this is going to get to 3?
I would imagine, if we get enough public money, it'll get to 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you like Seattle, get it in quick, either here at the MGM Grand or any of the lovely MGM Resorts International properties in Vegas. If you like Green Bay, maybe wait a little while.
Yeah,
so it gets to 3.
Take the 3, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Third game that I want to talk about on Sunday. This is Sunday night game day, and this is probably the marquee, if not one of the marquee games of the weekend. Cowboys come in to face the Giants. Cowboys have won 11 straight, and they've done so after losing their opener to the Giants. Giants are going to be the home dogs here. 3.5 points as we do this right now. Cowboys 3.5-point favorites in this one. Cowboys are pretty unstoppable.
Yeah, I applaud you for not using the R word, revenge factor. Everyone is going to be talking this week about revenge, and Dallas is going to want to eliminate that blemish on their record.
In-season revenge.
Yes, in-season revenge. And it could be, I mean, the way things are shaping up, these two teams could play, match up in the playoffs as well. A high seed versus a low seed.
Yeah.
With the Giants, getting into the playoffs somehow. But it's a road game. You saw how the Cowboys performed at Minnesota. They struggled with a really good defense.
They did.
I'm not saying that the Giants are a really good defense, but they're formidable. I mean, Pierre-Paul could give Dak a little bit of an issue. He's tall. He gets that lobster claw up there to block down balls and stuff,
Though, Pierre-Paul with the injury this week, sports hernia. Have you ever had a sports hernia before?
Yeah, I did. I got bucked off a horse. Long story.
Do we have time for that?
Yeah.
So he's out for the year too, Jason Pierre-Paul.
Oh,
Can you tell us about the bucked horse for a second? What happened with that?
My son was on a horse and I jumped on. It was bareback, and as I jumped on, my long legs kicked the horse in the wrong spot.
Oh.
And he ejected both of us.
Well, that's what Jason Pierre-Paul has, a sports hernia. Maybe not quite acquired the same way. So
in
Dallas 3.5,
game,
you're going to need.
Oh, we're going to need the Giants for
course.
sure. I mean, everybody, the first third of the season, nobody believed the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
So we needed them. That was great. We were, winning with the Cowboys because they were covering. And that's shifted about week 6. And now everyone's on the Cowboys. We never need the Cowboys at this point in the season. So, we're going to be rooting for Manning to not be smirking too much and maybe get a couple of smiles out of him because he's getting the job done. But, there's no quarterback in the business that shows how poorly he's doing on his face than Eli Manning. And he just sits there and he just gives you this really crappy look on his face all the time.
Jay's in a great mood today.
Yeah.
The Eli Manning face. Yes, that's what you'll be rooting for. And Brock Osweiler earlier, as we mentioned.
Bitter beer face. That's what it is. Kind of like.
Yeah. Giants really could be in trouble here. They lose last week. Point differential for an 8-4 team is nothing to write home about. So this is a team whose record is probably outperforming what their actual skill level is. If they lose here to Dallas, they really are going to be in a struggle for the wild card down the stretch here.
Yeah, because Dallas puts everyone in their rearview mirror. I mean, Redskins have been struggling now. Yeah. If the Giants are struggling, it's a done deal. Philadelphia can't win it anywhere except at home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Dallas is basically, they're going to shut the door on the division, and everyone's going to be scrambling, hopefully, in that division to try and get a wild card. But there's a lot of other teams that are playing well, starting to round out form that can steal that wild card from that division as well.
So Giants as is in the driver's seat for the NFC's #1 wild card position, but this will go a long way to determining whether or not they get there in the end or not. So early game, you're going to need the Texans, then you're going to need the Packers, then you're going to need the Giants.
I'm going to need the Giants for my lungs because that's going to probably be the biggest bet game of the week for sure.
Okay. As bettors, keep in mind what Jay needs, maybe what you need, that's for you to determine. We'll figure that out. That's your job as we handicap these games. Which brings us, Jay, to what everyone's waiting for, our picks for Week 14 in the NFL.
Picks.
Once again, just to review, we both started 0-5.
Yes.
We were not good. That's not good.
No, but if the college committee, we're improving.
Right.
So we should be able to play our way back into the
Well,
playoffs.
clearly, gentleman here with 2 in a row. I'm on fire. Jay, I'll give my pick first.
Right, because I usually steal yours.
That's true. That's happened before.
Yes.
My pick, I'm going to go to a game that is sort of against the wise guys. The wise guys this year have loved, for whatever reason, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes.
They loved them in the preseason and over on season win totals. Week after week, they backed the Jaguars. I'm taking the Vikings -3 on the road. I like the Vikings to reverse their trend of late here. They started out 5-0, now they're 6-6. I think they get the win at Jacksonville, and I think they cover the 3 points in the process.
Wow, you've been laying a lot of road points. I don't know what's with that. I mean, that's about as square as it comes.
I don't know if I've laid, well, yeah, I did 2 weeks ago, and it worked out for me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to lay the road points here, try to go 3 in a row.
So I'm going to go a different route. We're going to go away from the NFL, and we're going to go with the last college football game of the year, Army-Navy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm going to give the Black Knights a shot against Navy, who's been really hot. Played their way into a bowl game, so we're going to...
Personal foul.
Oh.
J-Roo.
Wow.
No confidence in your pick.
Oh.
Retry your prediction.
Wow.
Wow.
All right, so I guess no Army. So then what we're going to do this time is...
well,
look at that. That is sad.
Wow. So here's the thing. I don't think that's challengeable.
Reviewable, maybe? Yeah.
No, not reviewable.
I don't want to review any of the picks. So
well, here's the thing. You have the opportunity. You went with Army, right?
Yeah.
And he threw the.
All right, so I guess I'm going with Navy.
Navy.
Navy
it is.
minus the points is the pick for this week.
Navy minus the points. Boy, a lot of conviction from the vice president of MGM Resorts International Race and Sportsbook. You really
Either that or
really,
I get a quarter out and we flip and we'll figure out which one it is.
Well, as Jay has said in the past, maybe just fade. Maybe just fade him. But
now I've given them both sides, so what are they going to do now?
Well,
now it's completely confused.
I think you've gone to Navy on the flag.
Wow.
There it is. Wow. Actual officiating on the set.
That would put an eye out. I can understand why the one guy is suing
for
the NFL.
Cleveland a few years back.
Right.
He already had an eye condition, and they happened to hit him in the eye.
Right.
Yeah, that's another story. All right, my pick, the Minnesota Vikings, giving 3 on the road at the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Jay Rude, ladies and gentlemen, the vice president of MGM
Giving you
Resorts
both sides of
International
one game.
Race and Sportsbook, went with Army. That got flagged. The new pick is Navy. You decipher through that little bit of chicanery.
Yes.
All right, Jay.
I like it. Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Right here on the set of Behind the Book. Once again, thanks for watching, and please come down and visit us either at the MGM Grand Sportsbook or at the Mirage Sportsbook. Jay usually hangs out down at the Mirage. Yes. We'd love to say hello. Place all your bets for Week 14. Good luck with that Army-Navy game. That should be fun. For Jay Rude, I'm Gil Alexander, host of the Beating the Book podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck with all your bets this week.